guys. Joseph Kursky here with you to talk about what is georeferencing and also how to georeference an image in ArcMap or ArcGIS, and then how to serve up or publish that georeferenced image inside ArcGIS Online. Let's get started. I've already done the following. Number one, I've downloaded an ungeoreferenced image, which I detailed in part 1 of this video series. Number 2, I've georeferenced my image in part 2 of this video series using ArcGIS Desktop or ArcMap. Now I am in my ArcGIS Desktop session or ArcMap, and I've signed in to my ArcGIS Online account where I have publisher privileges. I then File, Share As, Service, and that's where we're picking up right now. We are now ready to share our georeferenced historical map to ArcGIS Online. I'm going to share as a service. I'm going to use my hosted services, give it a service name. I'm signed into ArcGIS Online as I do this. And we've got some choices here that are important. First of all, tiled mapping is what we want. This is a raster image. I'm going to check the scales. It's very important to keep in mind the scales that you're working with here. You don't want to serve up something that's too large and unwieldy. So you want to check this, and also the advanced setting. You can adjust the scales. Give it some metadata here. This is very important to be able to find your data set later on, and also for other people to find your own data set. So in my case, it is a historical Sanborn scanned image of a section of State College, Pennsylvania. So I'm going to add the appropriate metadata and give some credits where I got the data from, and also the educational use that I am intending for it. I'm not serving it up in super high resolution, so I'm going to say educational use. This is obviously not for someone to locate historical pipelines or something like that. But for our purposes here, it's going to be just fine. I'm previewing that. That's looking good. And I've got a couple of warnings, one of which is you're showing it at all scales. Also, it says, mixed file format is what you want to do. You want to save it as mixed. So I'm going to go in here and change the format to mixed, as you can see right here. And now previewing my warnings. Those warnings are fine. It's going to draw at all scales, and I'm good with that. And then I'm now going to share my service to ArcGIS Online. It says it created the service. Now, you might want to keep this in mind. If you've got a fairly hefty size, you are going to experience some delay in having it draw inside ArcGIS Online. So just be patient while those tiles are created. If you go into ArcGIS Online and you don't see your base map right away, the one that you've just geo-registered or geo-rectified, then just wait a little while. It'll appear. Those tiles have to be spun up to the server and created. Now, I've moved my layers to, as you can see there, the My Content correct folder. Now I'm going to go look at the metadata for my 2 items that I have there. I have a tile service, and I also have, as you can see, let's go to the folder, I've got a tile layer, and I've also got a service definition. So I've got 2 things in there that it shared. I don't need to share my, look, it's 57 megabytes. I don't need to share my service definition, but I do need to share, if I want other people to look at it, my tile layer, as you can see right there. So I'm going to go into my tile layer, and I'm going to add it to a new map. I don't have a map created, so if I want people to look at it in a map, I'm going to have to create a map and save it. And there's my map. You can see that I can do a couple of things here. I can make this transparent, just like we were doing in ArcGIS Desktop. But of course now I've got the capability of adding all kinds of layers from ArcGIS Online to this, and I can also share this with people, and I can also make web mapping applications, as we'll do at the end of this particular demonstration video. That is wonderful. That didn't take long to serve up that data into ArcGIS Online, and now again I've got lots of advantages I can change the base map certainly to, let's just look at imagery for example, so we can see what we're dealing with. Again, this is a 1922 Sanborn historical map for a section of State College, Pennsylvania. I'm going to adjust the transparency so I can compare those university buildings and how they've expanded over time, and also some other buildings near the center of State College. I'm going to add some metadata to my saved map so other people as well as myself can find this, and then I can share this map with different folks. So now you'll be able to find this map online as well. Let's do one more thing before this demonstration is done, and that is let's go ahead and create a web app. So if I go into share and create a web app, ooh, this is going to be great. How about a swipe? Let's create a swipe web app or web mapping application. I'm going to search for swipe. I'm going to say, ooh, story map, swipe, and spyglass. Create that web app, please. I'm going to give it some metadata here, title, tags, a summary. Title it swipe app, just so I'll be able to find it more easily. All right, done. What kind of swipe do I want? I want a vertical bar type of swipe. I can adjust these titles if I want to, and enable or disable the legend and scale bar and some other things there. I can do some aesthetic adjustments as well, color, fonts, things like that. And look, now I've got a swipe story map web mapping application where I can really use these swipe tools effectively. It's kind of like a vertical sort of squeegee, as you can see there. And I can swipe it back and forth, seeing the changes, and sometimes no change from 1922 to the present, or the latest satellite image date. Very nice. So that's a web mapping application that I just created. Again, I added my tile layer to ArcGIS Online. I saved the web map, and then I've just in the last minute created a web mapping application, in this case a swipe map, so I could compare historical versus current. So let's take a look at my content. I've got a couple of things in there. I've got the original web map. That's what this is. The web map showing my georeferenced image from Sanborn Maps, 1922, for a section of State College, Pennsylvania. I have a web mapping application, which is my swipe story map web mapping application, or web app, which looks like this with the vertical bar that I can swipe across my data. Excellent. So I've got the web map, the web mapping application, I've got a tile layer in there, I've got a service definition, all in ArcGIS Online, and I serve that up from ArcMap, where I originally georeferenced the Sanborn map to known coordinates. It was scanned and ungeoreferenced. Now it's georeferenced. I've got it on my local computer, but in this demonstration video, I've served it up into ArcGIS Online. Thanks. I hope that was helpful.
So, folks, you now know, number one, what georeferencing is and why it's important. Number two, how to georeference an image in ArcMap or ArcGIS Desktop. And number three, how to serve a georeferenced image in ArcGIS Online. Now think outside the box. The power of being able to georeference anything to real-world coordinates and use it in conjunction with other GIS layers is incredibly powerful. Now go forth and do this. Thanks.